went to Wahiawa. Uh, I was on the circuits there, and also we had MUX machines. Well, the code was on tape, and like I say, I was a pretty good typewriter. And I did a lot of what we call muxing, and would tape these up and then run these tapes to San Francisco, all the messages. And NPG was San Francisco. And then they had a teletype room, and I spent a lot of time in there typing messages to 14. I can't bring them up. The
Division 14?
no, 14 was the Commandant 14 there.
Okay.
That was right in Pearl Harbor. A lot of those messages were sent right down to the Commandant's office. Yeah, I'm still trying to bring that ship up.
Do you have it in one of your books?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay,
think so.
that's okay.
No.
That's okay. Yeah, it'll hit you when you don't even
Yeah.
expect it to. So you're in the Pineapple Grove Communications Center underground. What was that like? Of course, no windows.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, they were building a lot of, at that time, they were building a lot of homes there for the service people. But a lot of them were empty. And I and a buddy, we put into, why can't we stay in one of those to stay in the barracks? And they let us. We stayed. I wasn't in there very long. But I'm coming to a part where I got transferred.
Okay.
Anyway, I was at Wailupi. I can't remember how long it was. A few months, I guess. And I went in on a midnight watch one night, and they had a big thing up there. Anybody that wants to volunteer for Midway, please sign up. And I looked at the top, and my name was right at the top. I thought, what's going on here? And I got the chief, and I said, hey, take my name off there. I don't want to go to Midway. He says, too late, it's already gone in. And I thought, oh, wow. And then my buddy came in laughing. He thought that was so
He
funny.
put your name up.
Yeah. I said, well, he used a few words on him. Anyway, I went to Midway. And I was on a circuit there one night. And, you know, we couldn't communicate, even though on code, we could communicate, but not who we were or anything. And I was sitting there one night, and he's going, dee, 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 dee. And I said, yeah, go ahead. He says, John? I said, yes. He says, this is Pete. I says, where are you? He says, I'm on Palmyra. That little tiny
Yeah.
I thought, oh man, you got it. Midway was, it was 2 islands, Eastern Island and then the other island, Goonibird Island. And the, if you remember the, boy, my mind isn't working good today. The air, they had a big place there for the planes to land, the big boat planes.
Okay.
I can't name the station. It was there before the war, and that was an interstop between there and Japan.
Right.
And I'm sorry I can't bring up those names. And they had a real nice station there. There's a hotel and all that stuff. but there wasn't anybody there when I was there. That was all gone. And, oh boy, I tell you,
What kind of messages were you receiving at Midway?
well, they were all coded.
So you didn't know what they were?
No.
Oh,
You didn't
okay.
know what they were.
Okay.
Gosh, some of them just go on and on and on. It was all instructions.
Any big wigs come through there while you were there?
Big
Any
one-
like generals or any of the top guys?
No, not that I remember. All I remember is about, well, I remember the bombing. We were underground. They dug out trenches, put boys up and covered with dirt. And our radio shack, we were under about 20 feet of sand. And when they dropped the bombs, boy, there was sand all over us. And the West Virginia was the other ship.
Okay.
And so, but the Japanese, when they attacked Midway, the first thing they hit was the water tanks and the hospital and our barracks and our mess hall. But they didn't wipe us out.
Now, when the Japanese hit Midway, were you at your station at that time, or?
Yeah, I was down there underground, yeah.
Yeah.
That was our radio station underground.
Yeah. Midway happens. What's next for you with that? I mean, what are you doing now after the attack on Midway?
Well, I stayed right there in communications, and then, after the Japanese went away, then I did a lot of swimming. I loved to swim
Yeah.
there. They had beautiful beaches there, and the water was so nice and warm. I can remember that. And so there's things, I had good side of things like that. And then I stayed there, and then they sent me back to Kaneohe in Hawaii. And I just, that was the Navy Air Force, what it was. And I don't know why they sent me there, but then I got orders to go back to the States. And then I went on leave and went back and saw my folks for a while. Came back and I picked up new construction, which was a, what they call an attack transport.
Mm.
And it had as many guns on it as a destroyer. It had anti-aircraft guns, 40 millimeter guns, 50 caliber guns, and 5-inch, well, there's a 5-inch 38 shell over there, that ashtray.
Oh, okay.
That's, be careful, those things will break off.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the big guns on the back.
That's
I made
interesting.
that as my souvenir.
Ah,
Well, a lot of guys in the service, they would collect guns and knives and stuff like that. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I did a little thing like that. And there's some more stuff there I'll show you.
yeah.
And it was,
So tell me, when you're back at home, you get your leave, you're back at home.
yeah,
By any chance, is either one of your brothers back there with you?
no,
Okay.
I don't recall. Not at that time. It was one time that my older brother and I did pass each other on our way home. But that was later, way later in the years.
Yeah.
And, because I going home, it was in a blizzard. And I went from Salt Lake to home, and I made it, and my brother, he was right behind me, but they stopped him. He had to lay over and come in the next day. He said, "How'd you get through?" I said, "I just bucking snowdrifts, and that old Studebaker just kept on going." And he said, "Man," he says, "you were lucky to get through there," because he said that was really bad. It was in a blizzard,
Yeah.
but that was way down the line from there. That's about the only time I got together with him.
Okay.
And
So after your leave, where do they send you then? Do you go back to Midway, or
Oh, no, no. Now, where am I?
you just came home from Midway?
Oh, okay, from Midway, yeah. I went to new construction. I came back to San Francisco
Okay.
and picked up the ship. I'll show it to you there in a minute. And I didn't know it, but that ship was brand new.
Mm.
I thought it was just an old transport, you know, converted. But it was brand new. And I was on that for almost 3 years.
How did a country boy like you get used to a ship where it's hard to tell where you're going?
Let me answer that. You know, when we get out to sea, you get outside of the land and all that, and if I come up on deck and look, the ship was always going east. Unless I'd go up to, and talk to some of the people, you know, doing the plotting of the ship, then I could tell which way it was going, but it always going east. And like I say, I was on there for 3 years in communications. I was a communications supervisor there, had about 8 or 10 guys under me. And you copy the code. We had a circuit, you know, you had to copy all this code coming in, because all the ships and all the different outfits got their orders that way. And I don't know how far, what more to talk about other than
Well,
some of
yes,
the battles were
yeah,
in.
yeah. Tell me about some of those. That had to be.
Well, the first battle I got into was Lady, and that was a huge battle. And we carried tanks, LCMs, which is landing craft medium, and which would carry a tank, and Marines. And we were an advanced attack ship. I mean, and we would go in sometimes 2 days before they even tried to land on some of those islands. And then we out there ducking bombs and putting up smoke screens to keep the Japanese from seeing where the ship was and all that, and things like that. And like I say, Lady was a pretty fierce battle.
Now, were you guys fired upon? I mean, did you take any
We
fire?
got strafed by planes and what have you, yeah. And I don't like to talk about it, but the skipper, I don't know whether it's that Lady or Lingan Gulf, he wanted more firepower. Someplace he got a bunch of 50 caliber machine guns that were on tripods. And he mounted them, welded them right to the deck. And I had one right outside of the radio shack where my office was. And his orders were, whenever we get attacked, anybody get on a gun, get on it. And that did happen one day. You want me to go on?
Yes, please.
And I had a young fellow that under me that he and I kind of managed that gun. And we were on it one day under attack. But like I said, I don't know whether it was Lingan Gulf or Okinawa or where it was. I can't remember. And a Japanese Betty came down, and they were tricky. And like I said, out in the area there was thousands of ships, a lot of activity. And they would come down low, and then everybody would get to firing, and if you weren't careful, you'd be firing against a ship next door to you. But I can remember that Betty, and I can't remember whether I was on the gun or Smitty was on the gun, or whether I was feeding it or whatever. But I can remember seeing those every 10th tracer when that Betty came in, went right in the nose of that Japanese Betty. It was a 2-engine plane. He did a cartwheel right down outside of the ship. So I don't know whether you want that kind of information. or
Yeah,
not.
definitely. That's, yeah.
That-
Now, did you guys get credit for that kill?
We got a star on, the Japanese flag, I think, on on our smokestack.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, it was a big thing.
Yeah, it
boy.
was. Yeah, tell us more about some of these battles that you were in.
Well, that, and, well, I think it was at, see, there was Lingayen Gulf, Lady, Okinawa. I think it was Okinawa we were, those were all battles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, let me back up a little bit.
Sure.
The Mariana Islands, Saipan, Tinian, that was a real fierce battle there. And that's where the Japanese told the women to jump off the cliff because the Americans would attack them. And a lot of them did.
Yeah.
And I can remember during the battle, these guys running the LCMs, you know, they had taken troops over and they pulled a girl out of the water and threw him on the back of the transom. And she was still alive. And I thought, oh, that's horrible. And the young guys asked me, well, what do we do with her? And the skipper yelled down, he says, took her back where you got her. And that really hit me kind of hard, but I knew they couldn't do anything but do what he told them to do. So those things like that I remember. That's of the battle. And what was I was going to say something about that other? Oh, that was a fierce battle. I can remember. I think it was Saipan. I think the West Virginia had been recommissioned. I think it was then. And we were laying to its port side. And at 12 o'clock at night, I'd go out there and look, and they'd be firing these 15-inch shells into the island. And you ever saw a Volkswagen red going into an island? That's the way it was.
And very loud, I assume.
Oh, yeah. You didn't get much sleep. Oh, yeah, and I can tell you this, during the attack, now, a lot of these places, the Japanese would attack at night, and you can't believe the amount of gunfire going off. It's so much that you could read a newspaper at 12 o'clock at night, because all these shells, this firing, and all these guns going off. So I remember that. Boy, it was on those things. And then backing up a little bit, we used to, one of our staging areas, this is before some of those battles, they had what they call Wash Machine Charlie. He'd come over every night about 11 o'clock, so high we couldn't hit him with any aircraft, and drop his bombs, and then go away. He never hit anything, but he sure kept us awake.
Now, did you guys accompany the destroyers and the battleships in groups, or were you guys kind of more just a small unit?
Well, I don't know how to say that. We didn't. They had different. The Navy had different sections of what they did, like their destroyers and their heavy cruisers and the battle wagons. We weren't mixed in with them.
Okay.
We were in there with them, but not in the operation with them.
Oh, okay.
They
So you
were
had your
doing
own
their
operation.
thing, we were doing our thing.
Gotcha.
So, now where was I?
Talking about what, Washing Machine Charlie, or?
Oh, yeah, Wash Machine Charlie. And, well, let's see, I was going up the line there a little bit. It was, like I say, I was in 7 major engagements, including Pearl Harbor and Midway.
What stood out the most for you in all those battles? Was there one that you think was the worst one that you were in?
They were all bad.
Yeah.
They were all bad. Okinawa was really bad. But I remember in, I think it was Saipan, that our boys got caught in the water and the Japanese just mowed them down. But they did make it ashore.
Yeah.
And
How was the food on the ship? Well, how was the food?
I was no farm boy. Things like that didn't bother me. I just ate what they put in front of me.
Oh, so it was just,
We always had good food.
yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't home cooking or anything like that. Or, let me tell you another story.
Sure.
I have some funny things in there that I remember. On this ship, you lined up for your breakfast, you know, you go by the kitchen window and then they'd put it on your tray and you go sit down and eat. Well, I came up, I don't know whether she can stand this or not, but came up to the door and, you know, guy cook in there said, "What do you want?" I said, give me a couple of hot cakes and some syrup and some orange juice and what have you. He said, "Wait a minute, I gotta grease the stove." And he picked up a mop and went like this, and the cockroaches just flew.
Oh,
Oh God, I don't think I want to eat fried cake. But anyway, those things were there.
yeah, yeah.
It was just, I thought that was kind of
That's,
a
yeah,
funny
it
story.
is. Now, did you do any of the flagging on the ship?
Do
You
what?
know, the flags. Is that considered part of communications?
What's that?
Using the different flags,
Well, we
the
had,
signal flags.
we had signalmen aboard ship.
Okay.
I didn't have to do that. I didn't like it. That was too slow to me.
Yeah.
I like code better. But they were doing the same code with flags. That I picked up on a couple of their things that they could do on flags, but I couldn't do it now. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were good.
And-
It was one way of communicating without us coming up on CW because the Japs could hear CW and
Now, what is CW?
code,
Oh, just.
code wireless.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Anyway, where was I?
Talking about picking up things on the flags.
Yeah. Let's see. Forgot what I was going to say.
That you'd picked up a few things from the flags. That
Yeah.
there's a better way of communicating than over the radio.
Oh yeah, it was quiet. Because they had flags and then they had beacon lights. And at night, you could see the lights. I could read the lights. But the flags, I could just read a little bit of it, and I never got into that too much.
So I'm sure you made friends while you were there, right? You made friends while you were
Oh,
on the ship.
I've got a book there of a lot of guys' names in them.
Did you ever stay in contact with any of them?
No. Well, I was in 12 years, and by the time I got it, everybody had gone home or gone away, and I lost track of them.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me, okay, so you're on the ship, you're on the Seikei. And you spent 3 years on that ship?
Yeah, about 3 years.
So after those 3 years, what did they have for you to do then?
Well, that's when you want me to go on?
Yeah.
Okay, I came back to the States, and I finally got shore duty. And they sent me to Patuxent River, Maryland, which was a jet testing station. And I was there. That's where I made chief radio. Oh, I guess. See, I got there in 46, and I was there, and then I got transferred. And in order to keep my rate, if you didn't hold your rate over a year, you'd have to go back to your old rate. Well, I didn't have mine in a year, so I had to go back to first class. And then they wanted to transfer me across the harbor there, and so I could hold my rate. And I said, no, I just hang on to this. And in the interim, I got orders to go to the Navy Department. So I was in the Navy Department, living it up there in Washington, D.C. And then we had orders to go on a secret mission into the Arctic. We had 2 icebreakers, and you see them there, and 1 supply ship. And we took off and got up clear to the very top of Greenland. And they found Admiral Perry's cairn there, where he was, if you know history, he had dysentery and all, and lost a lot of his men and what have you. All that information was in this pile of rocks. Well, since we were on an expedition, they put all of our names on that expedition in there on photostatic copies, I guess. And that was kind of interesting to me.
So does that mean you're a blue nose?
What's that?
Going up to the Arctic? Do they do a little procedure when you cross the...
Oh, I've got that, yeah.
Yeah,
I've got that all there. Yeah, across the Arctic Circle,
yeah.
across the equator.
Yeah, pollywog?
That's all in there.
Were you a pollywog?
You bet. I can tell you a story on that.